I'm Michael Che.
And I'm Colin Jost. And we've got a little secret. Actually, it's a pretty big secret.
Well, now you gotta give the people something.
No, I'm not saying a word.
Oh, then people won't know to tune in. Come on, tell them a little bit.
Like how we're hosting a comedy event streaming only on Peacock.
Exactly.
Or how it's called New York After Dark, and it's a comedy show that only features drop-in comics.
Boom, you nailing it, dude.
Michael Che's phone number is...
Whoa, hey.
New York After Dark. It's some kind of comedy thing, and it's streaming now, only on Peacock.
You love it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast.
Popping. What up, y'all?
We back. How's everybody doing?
Too good, brother.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Good week so far.
Yeah? It's a Tuesday?
Yeah, nice little Tuesday.
Tuesday. On a Tuesday. So, if you have not listened to episode 1, this is going to be part 2. We got a lot of good feedback, actually, on part 1. Yeah, a lot of people thought it was pretty solid.
Okay, that's great.
Surprisingly.
Typically,
people hate
us.
Yeah. So what we're going to do on part 2 is there's a lot of data to cover. So we're going to try to just jump into it. This is, of course, a VIP from Big Worm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we got to give our love to Big Worm. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. But we went over a lot in episode 1, but it was basically the foundation of what Oklahoma City bombing, what happened.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, very basic.
Yeah, it was just general overview.
Yeah,
of,
exactly.
The did and blah.
Yeah. And one of the bigger questions that we had in that episode was about the Ryder truck.
Yeah, like how do they identify from an axle?
So the good news is in part 2 we have a little time to go, okay, what happened and what is the actual data?
How do they do this?
Yeah, so we filled in that void, so to speak.
Perfect.
Yeah? All right.
Fill my void.
So you guys ready? You guys ready to kick it out?
This void right here.
So as a recap, if you did not listen to episode 1, please go back to part 1. It's kind of hard to...
Oh, it's not even going to make sense at all.
Yeah, it's not going to make sense.
You know, because there was definitely some details in part 1 that we even just mentioned. So you got to
just do yourself a favor.
It's not like we're not trying to spam like listens. Just do yourself a favor. Just do it.
Although we kind of are.
Yeah. Listen to all of our entire catalog before listening to OKC.
Grab every phone and iPad in your house and put it on episode 1.
Yeah, different emails.
VPN.
Okay, so one of the bigger things that we brought up was the tracking. One of the biggest things in the trial was the Ryder truck.
Yeah.
That
was like their irrefutable evidence.
Yeah, exactly. And we were like, oh, well, how do you have a VIN number? Actually, Jorge brought it up, which is there is a VIN number on the axle.
Oh, there is?
There was.
I was like, that's the only way that you
can... Yeah, no, Jorge was right.
I mean, clearly the manufacturers were like, just in case. Let's just put it right there.
So in the immediate aftermath of the OKC bombing, amidst the devastation, etc., the FBI's investigation began by searching for any evidence that could help identify the vehicle used in the attack. What they found proved to be a crucial piece of evidence, which was the rear axle.
Yeah.
It had been blown several blocks away from the Murrah building.
Oh, damn.
That's a huge fight. Blew up half a goddamn building.
This small but significant discovery would become the key to the trial and to uncovering everything. So the part of the rear axle that investigators recovered contained a VIN number. This is a vehicle identification number.
Which is also weird. It's like, why would you put it on the axle? Because couldn't you technically replace the axle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think not default. What's it called? OEM or whatever. They everything just comes like that.
That's a good point. Yeah, they're stamped like this.
Yeah,
okay.
From the factory.
I did look it up, and manufacturers often stamp or etch VIN numbers on multiple main parts of a vehicle.
Okay.
Especially in a rental scenario, because they're trying to track their assets.
True.
Okay.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in cases of theft, accidents, or criminal investigations. And the practice proved critical in this case because it's literally what caught.
I know. It's like vehicle DNA.
Yeah, exactly. So the VIN was traced back to a Ryder truck rental, and agents were able to quickly determine that the vehicle had been rented from one of the branches in Junction City, Kansas. And this was the first, clue This was the first.
They're hot on the case.
Yeah, like just imagine you're an investigator and you're like, we got something.
Get the boys in here.
Bob, Johnny, we've got something. Yes. So once the FBI identified the specific writer rental agency, they immediately interviewed the employees who were at the rental facility.
Because they are like top notch.
That's right.
Top tier, like, high IQ individuals.
A key witness from the rental agency in Kansas recalled that a man who had rented the truck used the name Robert Kling. Despite the fake name, the employee remembered the man well, describing him as tall, with short, light brown hair, and providing enough detail for the FBI to create a composite sketch.
How did he rent it? With a fake ID too? That Robert Kling?
Well, I mean, this is the 90s.
Yeah.
They were
There's
like,
not a lot of like.
they're like,
You might not even have to give a license.
I
Like,
do have cash.
here's some cash.
I know, it's
Just
sick.
rent me the truck.
So at the time, they made, and I don't have it here in a photo, but they made a sketch. It was the first FBI sketch.
All right, we'll put it up.
We'll put it up on the things. And this was the first sketch. Now, for conspiracy theorists, the witness at the rental agency said there was a second person.
Well, then what about was it like his homie?
Yeah, there was
There was two homies,
two other
yeah.
guys that were
No, but he was out of state.
but there was two
There was
other
two
guys.
other
I
ones.
know. Yeah,
There was one that got
Nichols and-
arrested, right?
Nichols and whatever.
Yeah, the one who like knew about it but didn't
Yes.
say shit, and then the other one who was like involved.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, but these guys were verified as being out of state.
Both of them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, let me just give a quick example though. Me and Eric and his wife, we all went to a wedding one year, and Eric had purchased a rental car, and we get to the rental car place, and it was verified, everything, and they get to there and they don't have cars.
Yeah, true story.
And we're like, but what did we pay for? And they're like, I don't know. And they're like, I'm not telling you. And we're like,
Sure.
She was verified. Like Eric's like, look at the confirmation that I have a vehicle waiting for me. And they were like, yeah, we don't have any cars.
Very true story. And
So I'm saying, like, sometimes
they're like, go to-
verifications.
they're like, go to DC and pick up another one. And I'm like, bro, how do we get to DC?
Well, first of all, we Ubered to this place that was like an hour away from the airport that we flew into.
I'm still fucking mad.
$150 later just to tell you, no confirmation, I'm sorry.
I know, they're literally like, and then we look, every rental agency within like 20 miles was like empty.
Oh my God.
So then we had to get another Uber, and then we finally found one. But
So the
Just
FBI examined the rental records for that Ryder truck, and they determined that it had been rented on April 17th. Now the bombing happened on April 19th.
okay,
So it was 2 days
2
earlier.
days prior.
Yeah. This allowed them to establish a tight timeline for when the bombing was planned and executed. Okay. While the truck was crucial in transporting the bomb, the investigation also sought to trace the materials that were used to construct the explosive device. Investigators followed leads to local hardware stores, agricultural suppliers, discovering that large quantities of ammonium nitrate fertilizer had been purchased in the weeks leading up to the attack.
Okay.
This material, combined with fuel, was used to make this powerful bomb. The FBI soon connected the purchases of these materials to Timothy McVeigh.
I wonder how big are we talking about? Like, how big is the actual bomb? Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
like,
size
No,
of
that's a great question.
I mean, he had a Ryder truck, so he's got to
Great
assume
question.
big enough to you have to have a moving truck to put it in.
So, and we
or
can,
is that just what he got? Like, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
it's not like a fucking.
So it's a huge.
It's not like this big, and he's like, all right, man. no, it was like fucking.
All I got is a Ryder truck. All right, I'll take
So
it.
this
It was
is
probably like barrels and barrels full.
correct.
Of shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's right. Yeah. So, and we were going to bring this up later, but we'll bring it up now because it's a great question, right? Which is that there was a witness, and it was the wife of one of the guys who got convicted, the Nichols
Okay.
guy. Yeah. And they were
the one
talking
is that the
about-
guy that didn't say anything, or the other one that actually helped put everything together, or whatever?
It was the main other guy.
Okay,
Like it was his name's Nichols.
The guy that actually helped build the bomb.
Terry Nichols.
Yeah,
Terry Nichols.
sounds like he did.
But they were having like a wine night, like a thing.
let's build a fucking bomb, bro.
And so apparently, per the wife, this is what she testified in court, and she said that he explained by using cans of soup. You know, like
like a Campbell's.
yeah.
Like
and he said that's how big it's going to be compared to, let's say this is the truck,
Okay.
And then that's a can, that's a barrel.
so they're like
that's a
barrels,
barrel, yeah. And there's like
Okay.
6 or 7 barrels in the Ryder truck.
Wow. I mean, no wonder it was able to do that. Like, if you guys remember from episode 1, like, basically 90% of the building or something like that, right? It came down.
Yeah.
Like, basically the whole
more than
thing.
half. Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
I mean, it's wild. It's the destructive power of bombs.
Yeah. So the FBI soon connected the purchases of these materials to Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols, and it further narrowed their focus on the individuals that were involved. The Ryder truck rental provided the first concrete link between McVeigh and the bombing, as witnesses described him as the man who rented the vehicle under his alias.
What was this? Was like fucking stupid aliens. It was like
Robert Kling.
Robert Kling.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
what? It's perfect.
Exactly. So the recovery of the truck's axle and the identification of the VIN were pivotal moments in the FBI investigation. Without this piece of evidence, tracking down McVeigh and linking him to the crime would have been more difficult. If you remember in episode 1, he was pulled over for not having a license plate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you idiot. Like, what are you doing?
And so actually what happened is the FBI or the investigators in the case, they were like, oh, there's this guy who's been arrested. And for a few days, they didn't actually piece together that it was him.
So it's just like a random dude who's like in the...
Right?
He's in like waiting for bail.
Yeah. And so eventually, as you piece these things together, you were like, oh, it's the same guy with all these ties to this situation. Yeah. Anyways.
I mean, is this the one of the only like legit FBI investigations in the history of the FBI? Like, damn, seems like they were putting in the work on this. So
Well, that's because it didn't take place in the 60s, 70s, and all the other stories.
Actually,
Though.
all the guys were like, man, fuck it. Sounds like the guy.
They learned the lesson by now.
So we kind of touched on this earlier, but when he was arrested, he was wearing a shirt. And I mean, take this as you will. You know, you guys decide. It was a shirt that featured the image of Abe Lincoln. And on the back of it was the quote from Thomas J.
Okay.
And then the back was the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots.
But then why would you put like
Right?
Abraham Lincoln on it? Like,
No, and then on the front was Sic Semper Tyrannis. It's what John Wilkes Booth, like the guy who killed Abe Lincoln, he shot him, jumped on the stage, and said in front of everybody,
Six Patananas!
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And translation is thus always to tyrants.
Thus always to tyrants?
That's right. Yeah.
What is it? Thus always?
Thus always to tyrants. That's the translation.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, are you ready? So the phrase Sic Semper Tyrannis is Latin for thus always to tyrants, and is often used to imply that tyrants will always or will ultimately face justice or downfall. The phrase came
Lincoln tyrant.
the phrase came from Brutus, which was one of Julius Caesar's assassins.
Et tu, Brutus?
Who is said to have spoken it during Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, signifying that Caesar, viewed as a tyrant, was receiving the comeuppance. Like he was receiving what he got because he was the tyrant.
I mean, I mean, let's be like real talk though. Like Julius Caesar was kind of a.
Yeah,
I know he's like portrayed as like this super badass dude, but he pretty much usurped power and was like,
right,
this is Roma's
I'm the
mine.
emperor.
Roma's my shit now, bitch. And so you couldn't really do anything about it.
So essentially, when Abe Lincoln was killed, John Wilkes Booth thought he was the tyrant of America.
Right.
Which is, but maybe John Wilkes Booth was like a Southerner or something at the time.
He very much were.
Fuck
He
you,
very
Abe
much
Lincoln.
was. Yeah, he very much
Son of a
was.
bitch.
Yeah. So it kind of became a rallying. It became like a rallying cry.
It sounds like Dave Chappelle skit.
It became like a anti-government rallying cry.
Yeah,
Tracking?
yeah.
So you got to. This is hundreds of years.
Right.
Of
So
like,
you think he actually like bought this shirt way ahead of time.
He's got Thomas J on the back.
He knew this.
He's got John Wilkes Booth on the front.
This motherfucker probably just grabbed something from like the dirty laundry that day.
It's his escape outfit.
Yeah,
he's got to like lay it out like, oh yeah, baby. Like, woo!
Iron the t-shirt and make sure it had the crisp on the side.
Fucking starched it.
Yeah,
it's all like clean. He's like, shit. I should have remembered to put the license plates on, but I got the shirt.
I was too busy getting my outfit ready.
But I mean, the idea being is that he thought now there's a lot more info that you could go into, and if you as listeners want to dive into his life before the bombing, you can for sure. Which is that there's something called Ruby Ridge, and there's something called Waco.
Mm-hmm.
And
we talked
about it last episode. Yeah.
Just the Waco one.
Yeah, this is the Waco one.
Yeah.
Ruby Ridge was horrible. It was actually horrible, and it was a overreach of power of the U.S. government.
Mm.
And so they went in. And just imagine you're like
U.S. government's never done that before, boys.
Yeah. So imagine you're part of the ATF, and then like you're like, oh, this family needs to. Like, they haven't registered their guns, and we're going to take them. And then all of a sudden, it escalates out of control, and then you accidentally shoot their children. That's what happened at Ruby Ridge. Right? So if you're all of a sudden thinking that it's a very big brothery.
Well,
hell yeah.
I mean, look, and I'm on board with that. But, you know, fucking bombing a building worth of, like, just like random, like, fucking clerical workers for the government's not gonna like, take that, try doing your admin now, fuckers.
But I mean, historically, so if you wanted to go back into Timothy McVeigh's life, you go, like he was he was at Waco.
This is his influences. This is the influences.
Yes, and he's like, oh, anti-government. Okay, our founding fathers. Let's put Thomas J on my back, which is that the blood needs to be spilled of tyrants from time to time with patriots, and then on the front is, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm trying to give his view.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. I just don't know that he really planned it that much. Like,
I just bought a T-shirt.
Yeah, I just think it was one of his like many.
Yeah. He got like
crazy ass T-shirts.
He got TikTok shopped.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he was like, ooh, $5.99. Okay. And also, it's like, I hate that. Like, you're using past presidents to, like, justify, like, your current thing. Like, oh, yeah, see, they had to deal with it. I'm like, well, I mean, we're not in the same situation as, like, England, lording over us.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is funny. I don't agree, and there's a lot of shit that's happening that does suck, and, like, I believe the government constantly is abusing its power and misusing our tax dollars all the time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily... I wouldn't view it as like, oh, they're going to send their fucking army over here to fucking murder all of us because we're like, over like
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
Well, remember he was also in the, I think it was the army?
Yeah.
Something, and he went through all that left that bad taste in his mouth or whatever about the government and that shit. So it's like years and years of buildup.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not trying to justify anything. I'm just saying, like, we're trying to get in his head.
In the mind of
we're trying to get in his head.
We're analyzing this motherfucker right now.
So, in addition to the T-shirt, McVeigh was also found to be carrying a card in his wallet with a similar anti-government sentiment. The clothing choice, along with the materials that he had on him, demonstrated his extremist views.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
But once again, it's a fucking T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just a T-shirt. Like, let's be honest.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, what if he was just an innocent dude and they're like, nope, sorry, brother.
Yeah.
Some bad shit just happened.
You wore the wrong shirt.
You're an extremist.
Yeah. But, so as we go forward, right, so then there's the case. The case against Timothy McVeigh was built on an overwhelming amount of evidence against him. Right?
That sounds
because we know that he was executed.
Yeah.
He was convicted and executed, right?
Fast, too.
So here are a couple of things that were the main parts of the case.
Mm.
Yeah. So take it as So obviously the writer rental.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge piece.
The VIN number was tracked to him as an alias who he rented.
Did they have CCTV?
No, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So they have a video of him, but it's at like a McDonald's next door.
I mean, it's still circumstantial, but it's.
Yeah.
Now, for conspiracy theorists, and put this in your cap, put it for later.
Yep.
There were two
Yeah.
To what?
people. It wasn't
Yes.
just McVeigh.
Two people at the same time renting that truck.
Yes.
What if he
I wonder if the other one was just kind of like in
Witnesses
the
say-
room and like.
Correct. That's the
You know,
argument.
This is like a dude,
yeah,
like,
This
what
is
is
why we have the podcast. This is honestly. So when they came out and the initial part of the rental was they did two sketches. One was obviously McVeigh. It looked like McVeigh.
Okay.
The other guy was like wearing almost like a Carolina Panthers hat. Like
Can't trust
with the
him.
you have like a slash. You know, with like their Panthers.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like this three
Like
little
fucking whatever.
thing.
We had that kind of thing. But that is the biggest part of this whole conspiracy.
Yeah.
Is that eventually the FBI said that was wrong, and he was just a guy there.
It's just like a rando.
Yeah.
That's like,
So just imagine you're renting a truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jorge's the murderer. Jorge's the killer.
and I'm just like there.
And you're just there renting a truck. And then you
fucking
have,
hate moving.
you have a sketch of a guy. He's got a little mustache. He's got a little widow's peak. It looks exactly you. And he's tatted out, right?
I would be like, "Feel my head."
No, and you know what I mean. You got sleeves and that sort of thing, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you become part of.
I become Jorge's
Jorge's.
like a part of his like
But just
fucking
because you were-
master plan,
Yes, but you were maybe
and
just.
I wear like a slightly anti-establishment T-shirt. And they're like, "This is the motherfucker right there."
But essentially, it could go either way. It could be that you were with him or you were not. Tracking?
But I do think it's interesting how the employee was like, "Oh, I can describe him so much," but then didn't say shit. But what did he say about the second dude? Like, wouldn't he have known if they were together? Wouldn't that be like the easiest thing to remember? Yeah, two dudes rented a truck together.
Well,
That's the thing is in all of this we've learned very much that witnesses are the worst.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
They're the worst humans.
He gives like a
They
really
don't-
detailed composite sketch, and he's like, "There was another dude."
They don't know. They don't know what they're talking about, or like I don't know if they want to get fame, they want to get whatever.
It's
you know.
super-
I'm DB Cooper. I don't fucking anything.
I'll help you
know.
with the sketch.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
it's me. It's a 6'3".
but again, put that back into your little cap.
Yeah.
for
Okay.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So a couple other things in the trial. There was a hotel or motel called Dreamland Motel.
That sounds
McVeigh
like hookers were
stayed.
there for sure.
McVeigh stayed at a motel near Junction City in the days leading up to the bombing.
They charge by the hour there.
I bet they did.
Well, quick side note: have you ever stayed somewhere by the hour?
No, but I went into one. I went into one in Jersey, and then it was like
They're
whatever.
like, how many hours do you need, brother?
Yeah, for real. I was like, hey, let me get a room,
Jersey?
whatever. Yeah, it was in Jersey, like random. I was like doing the roadsiding
Yeah.
thing or whatever,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So like
selling shit.
fucking 11 o'clock at night, just pull over wherever, right? And then and then he asked like, oh, okay, like how many hours do you need? And it didn't like really register at first. I'm just like fucking
6.
tired. I want. You guys serve breakfast in the morning, like
No.
Continental.
you got continental breakfast
bro.
We
here.
don't.
Yeah.
Do you need any assistance?
Anyways, then all of a
sir?
sudden I just like noticed that he had a little promo of one of the beds, like heart shaped beds.
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is not the place.
You know what? I'm actually not tired at all. I'm out
Actually,
here.
my van looks pretty good right
I don't
now.
want to get chlamydia. So.
In a van.
Yeah, I had a van.
It's like a
I had a
date
white
rape
van,
Of course it does. You got to fit
Full
all
of
that
rugs.
a white
Gotta fit
van
all
with
the rugs.
a white van with no windows.
So he registered under the name of Tim Tuttle, and that was another alias that he frequently used. A hotel clerk later identified McVeigh from the photo and the sketch as the man who stayed there during that relevant time period.
I mean, it's starting to. The
Okay.
more we go, the less compelling this evidence becomes.
Okay.
It's all hearsay. They no video. I thought at least they would have a video of him walking up in the store
back
renting
then.
the truck.
Phone calls.
It's the 90s. It wasn't like
There were
the
records.
20s.
There were
There was
records made.
There was not even cell phones, was there? It was 90.
ish.
You said
Yeah, you had to be hot.
94.
Oh, yeah,
You had to be
rich.
real hot. You had to like the car phone
You're
with
like
the Zach
Gordon
Morris.
Car phone.
Gordon
car
Gecko?
phone. I said
Yeah,
cell
the
phone.
Zach Morris.
No,
kind
I
of
meant
thing.
like a cell phone. Like yeah, there was There's not that much surveillance like there is.
Endicott Steel wants to sell. What's the quote?
Endicott Steels, right?
Endicott Steel says no.
That's a classic movie.
Yeah. So records from the Dreamland Motel show that McVeigh made phone calls to Terry Nichols from the hotel.
And that was one of the homies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Corson, call our homie up. What up?
McVeigh, along with his accomplice of Terry Nichols, had purchased large quantities of ammonium nitrate fertilizer, the key ingredient in the bomb, from various supply stores, of which they have the receipts.
Okay, I was going to say, like, how do they have, like, credit
they have
card?
the receipts.
Okay.
These purchases were traced through sales records and eyewitness accounts from each of those stores.
Okay.
Eyewitness.
Storage units.
Of course,
Some of the bomb-making materials were stored in a rented storage unit that was later traced back to McVeigh and Nichols.
Okay.
I mean, you need a lot of fertilizer. You need a lot of that shit.
You need to put it somewhere.
Okay, McVeigh's arrest. McVeigh was arrested 90 minutes after the bombing during a routine traffic stop by OKC Highway Patrol Charles Hanger. McVeigh had been found to be carrying a concealed firearm
Driving without a license
and
plate.
without a license plate.
No license plate.
We established that in the last
So no
episode.
license plate. He got pulled over and it's like, let me see your license.
And driving without a license plate.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So
I wonder.
A little fact check.
Well, I was going to say, because driving without a license, they can arrest you for that. But I wonder if they can
a
arrest
license
you.
plate?
License.
Can you?
They can.
No, license.
I'm pretty
Not
sure
li- I
they
don't-
can drive. They can arrest you without driving without a license plate.
License plate too?
Okay, that means that you're, in essence, you're driving an
Unregistered car.
vehicle.
Yeah, he's right.
They're like, we have to impound the vehicle now.
That's not true, because if you had registration.
Especially in Oklahoma.
If you
I
had
mean-
registration.
This isn't Jersey. This is
Yeah.
Oklahoma. You know, shit's fucking-
Son, step out of the car.
son.
How many hours do I have?
Why do they
before?
always call you son?
I know, right?
Okay, anyways, go on.
Yeah.
Son? I know, like, you're not that much older than me.
What the fuck? I'm 40 years old. God damn it.
Like, I'm actually older than you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Sir? Son?
Son, sir.
Dad?
Let me son you. I'm gonna son you.
Okay. So in addition, and then we didn't bring it up in the last episode, but he was carrying a concealed weapon.
Oh, dude. And this is probably the time where you gotta have a license for that shit.
Oh, hell yeah, you gotta.
He was taken into custody and held for the violations. Now, again, he was held for a couple days and nobody actually put it together.
Yeah, there's like...
It was very similar to Lee Harvey Oswald. Remember Lee Harvey? Like, he's like, yeah, there's a guy here. Oh, he's in the station right now in the interrogation room. Very similar. Yeah. At the time of his arrest, again, we talked about the T-shirt, Tree of Liberty, etc., John Wilkes Booth, all that sort of thing. McVeigh and Nichols had purchased the materials used to construct the bomb, including ammonium. Go ahead, Sean.
Ammonium nitrate.
Ammonium nitrate and nitromethane. McVeigh's fingerprints were found on some of the receipts for the purchases, directly linking him to the bomb's ingredients and the purchase of those ingredients.
Why? Why is the motherfucker gonna keep the receipt?
Yeah, what
Like,
an
why-
idiot.
What does he have the receipt like chilling at his house? Like
What an idiot.
Why? Why? Is he like for his taxes? Like write that shit off?
Can I claim the bomb?
Can I claim the bomb?
Again, it goes back to like,
Unrealized gains.
again, it goes back to the ineptitude of our criminal minds.
Yeah, they're
You know what I
retarded.
mean?
Like
The car McVeigh was driving was arrested was a 1977 Mercury Marquis. Investigators found evidence inside the car, including a map that was there was a drawn line from Kansas to Oklahoma, which suggested premeditation and planning. Additionally, McVeigh had removed the license
it's
plate.
like not through any highways or anything. It's just a line. It's like,
Supposedly, though, McVeigh removed the license plate because he was trying to avoid detection. But it doesn't really make sense because it almost is like...
It's almost like puts a target on you.
Yes!
avoid detection while drawing.
So again, it goes either to the conspiracy or it goes to the ineptitude of the criminal.
I mean,
So far, ineptitude for
it's
me.
just there's hella. I think there's a little bit of both. Hella ineptitude, but then now it's like some of the evidence is like the fingerprints on the receipts. I'm like, okay, I can't really like deny that fact,
Yeah.
but like all the other stuff, there's like no It's all eyewitnesses. Yeah, that was him. Describe to me what he looked like. Yep, that was him. What you just described.
White male, brown hair.
Done. Done. So it's him.
That's the most racist thing I've ever heard in my life.
Average height. Average height. Average build.
5'8".
Definitely racist.
Okay, so then there was testimony from his accomplices at the trial.
Of course.
And
They're trying to say.
this cinched it.
Of course.
This locked it down.
You're talking about
At the
that guy
trial.
Terry? That
Yes,
was
correct.
okay.
Yeah.
But let's say hypothetically. Let's say they're like.
So the homie sold you out.
Well, no, but listen, like, let's say we're on trial, and it's like even if I'm innocent, they're gonna be like, well, it's either you narc on his brown ass, or you're fucking going to jail. I'd be like, Jorge, he threatened my life. He called me Vato. Like I would,
but put it in.
I don't trust you guys. You
perspective.
guys would snitch on me right away.
I would never snitch on you.
Yeah.
First of all,
I believe Sean.
I would never do anything.
I don't
illegal.
know about Eric. He's a snitcher,
I don't
man.
know. It's a white male.
Yeah.
Average height. Really hairy.
Minus the hair.
I'm 5'10" on a solid day.
I know, like,
Solid day. When my posture is real in, I'm 5'10".
he's wearing he's wearing a Gilligan's Island
It
hat.
just says Menana.
How racist is that?
I agree. No, racist
Very
is
true,
that.
actually.
Manana.
My son was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Just tomorrow, bro."
Go back to Spanish class, kid. Son.
Son. Okay, where were we?
Okay, so this is some of the testimony, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Terry Nichols, who helped McVeigh in the planning stages, was arrested and tried as a co-conspirator. Evidence showed that Nichols helped McVeigh gather and purchase the materials for the bomb, including buying the bags of ammonium nitrate and barrels of the fuel oil.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought
Homie just bought them with him. So, of course, he's like part of
in.
it. He's in.
No, yeah, you can't be like
100%.
no one's that stupid.
Yeah. So now there was another one, which is Michael Fortier. Now, he was the guy who was like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, he was like, he knew about it. He was just like, this. Forget about me.
I didn't know he was like initially gonna like be in on it with him.
Yeah.
I thought he just.
I thought
Well,
they
it was
just told- I thought they
very
told
much,
him.
Yeah, I
it was
thought
very
they-
much anti-government. Like,
Oh, really?
like,
Okay.
Hey, we're like on the crew.
See, on-
Fuck
on
yeah,
the-
fucking hate these fucking.
He's like, I thought this was like a
fucking
4chan
guys.
thing. He's like, I'm just
No.
trying to be like anonymous.
And then
That's why
Jorge
I
is like, let's bomb this shit. And you're like, oh, God.
Like,
I thought we were just Miller Lite talking.
yeah, right? Like,
I thought we were just
I
chatting.
can't do this.
No, I'm glad we're doing this episode because on episode 1, it just kind of seemed like, oh, they told him about it and he knew, but he just didn't speak up.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
I think he was part. He was like, he was revving him up. He was like,
Yeah.
the
He
hype guy.
literally,
True,
he
true.
literally said, I can't
Instigator.
be part of it. And he left the state.
But y'all should really do it.
But-
I ain't going to be part of it,
Y'all should.
but do it.
Do that
But
shit.
now,
do it.
and we'll talk
Be a
about
pussy.
We'll talk about it a little bit later. But also, he didn't report it.
Right. Which is why he got arrested and
That's right. And he got
convicted.
12 years.
Yeah.
So, Michael Fortier, a close friend of McVeigh's, testified that McVeigh had revealed his plan to bomb the federal building months before the attack. Fortier
I think it's 48.
also helped McVeigh in the case of the federal building. He cased out the building, basically.
Okay.
Like,
He was involved.
You know, yeah.
This motherfucker was going to cop this.
In exchange for a reduced sentence, Fortier cooperated with the government and testified against McVeigh. So he's the one who sold,
Okay.
went down the river. Yeah.
Went down the river.
He provided the crucial insider information on McVeigh's motivations and his actions leading up to the bomb. His wife, Lori, testified also that she helped McVeigh create the fake ID to rent the Ryder truck.
Damn. Wow. Did she get time?
Yeah.
Like this?
No, she didn't.
She didn't
That's
get
crazy.
time.
But she actually.
She didn't get time.
Yeah,
It was
she
an
should've.
integral piece there.
Yeah.
So, additional information on the trial. We're all doing. This is all the trial.
Yeah,
okay? This
yeah,
is all
yeah.
coming out from the trial. So, forensic analysis of McVeigh's clothing from the day of the bombing revealed, and this is the shirt. Remember the fucking Abe Lincoln
Abe
shirt?
Lincoln.
Yeah. Revealed traces of explosives that match the chemical composition of the bomb used in the attack.
Yeah, that's
This was a key piece of physical evidence.
that's a tough one.
How do you get around that?
Yeah,
Tough nut to crack.
I mean, I don't know if you can like sprinkle some fucking explosive dust on the guy, but like it's a toughie.
Yeah, his
Several
his lawyer's
witnesses-
like flipping a table over that one.
Yeah.
I would wonder. Like, could like just playing devil's advocate here? Is it possible to get some of that residue on you from being in proximity of the explosion? Like, even if you're not like in the explosion, can it like the wind blow some shit on you?
That's a
Sure.
I don't
good
know.
question.
Yeah,
Why were you doing there?
that I
Well-
cannot explain. That.
Maybe
I
he
was
was
walking
checking
by.
his social
I swear,
security.
I was just walking by.
was
the
a-
fucking
there was-
bomb goes off.
It was a social security office too. So maybe he was like checking his benefits.
Maybe he was like really secure in that fake
For his grandma?
identity.
Several witnesses reported seeing McVeigh in the vicinity of the Murrah Federal Building on the morning of the bombing, as well as driving. There are witnesses saying that he was driving the Ryder
How
truck.
did motherfucker?
That
Okay,
delivered
that
the bomb.
one, that's bullshit.
fucking- I mean,
Again,
do
it
you
comes
remember?
back down to the witnesses and
Do you remember any other person that you don't personally know that you've seen and
No.
ever?
Zero.
Especially not an average-looking dude. Like, you're not going to remember that
I
shit.
cannot tell you a single human who I don't know personally who I've seen.
I mean, maybe if she was like a hot chick,
I'd be like, I remember.
100%.
In like
He was
a
wearing a red
convertible. Yeah.
Red shirt. She had like a necklace. And like she had bangs.
There was a
Yeah,
very
like
small tattoo
fucking
right
all the
here.
things. Yeah. But to your point,
Yeah, it's like I don't
as a
remember.
dude,
No.
Literally,
No.
I literally went to Publix earlier. I don't. I can't even tell you what the cashier looked like.
True.
And I was talking to him.
during the
Is that
investigation,
the self-checkout? You're talking to yourself?
Like in my own
In the
reflection, like
fucking
that's a
hate-
handsome looking man there.
I fucking
Why you
hate-
working
in that
here?
mirror they have there?
I hate self-checkout. It's the worst thing
Oh,
on the planet.
it's
I like
the
it when you have
worst.
two things. It's like bing, bing, and then you're done. That's it.
No, they should give you a discount for that. Anyways.
During the investigation, the law enforcement uncovered anti-government writings by McVeigh, including letters and manifestos,
I knew it.
where he expressed his anger at the federal government, particularly in response to incidents like the Waco siege and Ruby Ridge. Now, I don't know if you know this, but this was a anniversary of Waco.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah. I think we said that on the first one.
Yeah, we did.
You can't push that aside. I
No.
mean, if we did something and it was like September 11th,
Yeah.
you have to kind of go,
Especially that he was there in Waco.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
it's even more like connected to
Yeah.
him.
It's like tied-
Emotionally
yeah.
tied
Yeah.
to it or whatever.
And if you didn't know that, we'll put it on Instagram, there's a video of him being filmed selling bumper stickers at the Waco siege.
Oh, yeah.
We'll put it on Instagram.
Yeah, we should.
And we'll show you exactly what happened. Cool. Yeah. But McVeigh believed that the federal government had overstepped its bounds and wanted to take action in like a retaliatory way. Yeah. His ideological beliefs, deeply rooted in anti-government sentiment, were central to the motivation of his attack, and that was what was presented to the jury.
And this is why I think at least my conspiracy radar goes off is that maybe it's not a conspiracy that he did it because I mean it seems
Evidence is
it's
mounting.
now there's a lot of like legit evidence, not like a bunch of bullshit evidence, but maybe it's like painting this picture of anyone who has any sort of anti-government like thoughts,
Yeah.
you know, hardworking people who don't want to kill people but are still like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like they become categorized and grouped into, and that's when you start getting like, you know, these people kind of become like segregated from like normal society. Like, oh, you don't trust,
Extremists,
you don't
yeah.
trust your government. Extremists, like, oh, conspiracy theorist, and it's like all this shit, and like you end up becoming like they try to make you get made into a pariah, and you get made to like anyone who doesn't trust the government's a psycho.
They have done.
That's what I think they're trying to push this narrative.
They have
like,
done a wild job at even the word conspiracy.
yeah,
Like it sounds like a crazy person.
yeah. It sounds like
Doesn't it?
it's something wild.
True.
Like
You know what I
whereas
mean?
with the
Yeah.
definition
Conspiracy
of it,
nuts.
Yeah,
You're one of those
you
conspiracy nuts.
theorist.
Yeah.
I mean, all a conspiracy is it's more than one person who are literally in cahoots to try to commit some sort of
Crime,
some
yeah.
sort of crime or some sort of illegal
and
activity.
that's it.
That's all. It's all a conspiracy.
Yeah.
That's it. Is it like if you were
Yeah.
like we're gonna rob 7-Eleven? Conspiracy.
Yeah. There was a book that he was apparently heavily influenced by, which was The Turner Diaries, and it's a novel that depicts a violent overthrow of the U.S. government. And it included like a detailed description of a bomb in a truck, similar.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, again, it was a piece of evidence that was brought forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like the current time. It's more like this the video games like Modern
I know,
Warfare,
like,
desensitizing,
like,
fucking with the
Grand
school
Theft
shootings.
Auto is Exhibit A.
Back then, it was like novels. We read novels.
I know books. Like, literally, like, whoa.
Again, in the trial, they had 3 to 5. It's kind of like some of them are vague, and they say, "Oh, I saw a guy," but you know what I mean. So it depends on how you want to.
Is that guy in this room?
Yeah, like
we go.
it depends on how you want to like quantify like which witness said that they saw him, because it was a crew cut white male.
Yeah.
And didn't necessarily say
Which
it
is
was
like
McVeigh, but
45%
it
of
was,
America.
It could have been him.
yeah, exactly. And so
They said they didn't say it wasn't him.
at the trial,
That's what
there were a few witnesses that said they saw somebody who looked like McVeigh at the bomb site.
Hence, I mean, this is also Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure they all look like me.
Yeah.
Like 90% of them look like fucking.
And then the last major part of the trial was he showed zero remorse.
yeah, that's what I've seen too. Is he was kind
You
of
saw the interviews and stuff like that?
What? He's like, that's
Yeah.
one, you know,
Yeah.
was wrong. Nothing wrong with what I did. I'm
Yeah,
like,
he actually
okay.
thought it seemed like he thought he
did like a good thing.
did a good thing.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, maybe this guy,
Yeah.
maybe the conspiracy. Like I said, I think the conspiracy is not that he didn't do it, but it's
Right.
that
Yeah.
this is like one of those
Who
things.
else
Like
was
you know, for example,
helping
like,
him and
it's like you get to turn the narrative. Like after 9/11, like the Patriot Act comes out, and
Yeah.
it's like everyone's like, yes, of course we'll vote for it, but then like they don't read all the fine print.
yeah.
Then it's like, oh yeah, well technically if you're deemed a terrorist, you lose all human
Yeah.
rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can literally.
But
take
again,
you
it
and-
goes
It can be like weaponized against American citizens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, it goes back to, I mean, fuck, he killed 19 kids.
I'm not. He's a piece
Right?
of shit.
No,
like, he is a piece
I
of
know.
shit.
I'm not saying
Right.
like you're saying anything. I'm just saying like, how do you justify that? Like,
You don't.
I
You can't.
don't. You can't. Like, it doesn't.
It's
Even if for a
unjustifiable.
cause,
It's
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, I
Unless
still-
you're a psycho.
Yeah.
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 Then it makes sense.
fucking
Again.
doesn't process
Yeah.
it the
Yeah.
same as we do. So
So he was, you know, all that evidence, and the media turned. I don't want to say the media turned against him, but I mean, public sentiment turned against him essentially from all that evidence.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And he was convicted, and he was sentenced to death, and he was put to death.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and
Don't feel bad about him.
you know, there you go. So there are now getting to the meat of it all. The meat of the conspiracy side.
Wait, by the
of
way,
it.
he's the only one that got sentenced to
death.
death, right?
Yeah.
Of the other.
The other guy got
arrests?
12 years.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, the other guy got 12 years.
Wait, that's the guy that that's not Terry, right?
Yeah.
Well, then what did homie get with his
Yeah,
wife?
Terry's the one that was like helping him with the bomb.
Terry got life in prison.
Okay.
Terry. Okay,
Terry
that's the guy that helped
That was
him.
when he was like involved.
Yeah.
Fortier got 12 years.
Yes.
Right.
So we got it mixed up.
Right.
And his
Right?
wife got 0.
Yeah, fucking bullshit.
So he's already out. Fortier.
Fortier's out of
Fortier.
prison.
He's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
the guy who's like, I'm out. I can't do this.
Yeah,
I
I'm good.
don't want to be part of this.
Yes,
La la la.
yes.
But he didn't report it.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then Fortier got life in prison. He's still in prison.
but not
'Cause it's
death.
life.
Okay, got it.
And McVeigh was executed.
Executed.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Good. You guys want to talk about conspiracies?
Yes. What you got?
Been waiting for this.
Okay, one of the most well-known alternative theories revolves around the alleged existence of a second accomplice, referred to as John Doe number 2. Numerous witnesses claim to have seen McVeigh in the company of another man at various points leading up to the bombing, including at the Ryder Truck Rental Agency. Some describe this individual as having a different physical appearance from Terry Nichols.
Okay.
Several witnesses, including employees at the Ryder Rental Agency, described McVeigh with another man at the same time as renting the truck. even in the FBI records, it says John Doe number 2.
Oh shit. But
Okay.
they were just like, you know what? This is so fucking cut and dry. Like, we're not going to waste time.
Yeah.
We need a quick conviction.
In addition to that, FBI have a second sketch of John Doe number 2.
Oh, so they did give a...
They fully went forward with there's another guy.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
So there's a dude that's like on the loose right
Yes. But the FBI later said he was just a dude
now. Oh, they were like...
renting a truck at the same time and
I mean, I don't think that
Happened to be there and like got
It's like
included.
worst place at the worst time.
yeah. So despite extensive searches and the sketches, etc., the person was never identified, and the FBI later concluded that John Doe number 2 didn't exist, attributing it to a confusion of witness misidentification.
Well, I mean, duh. I mean, I think that happened. If they didn't have all the other evidence, I'd be like, motherfucker is innocent. But then he kind of like owns it, so I'm like, okay.
So here's the theory. The theory is that the FBI either did not investigate it fully or they covered it up. They believe that John Doe number 2 may have been part of a larger group or a network that helped plan and execute the bombing, suggesting a wider conspiracy that included McVeigh, Nichols, and additional parties.
Like it's like a whole chat group.
That's right.
I mean, that's totally possible for sure. Definitely possible.
Possible.
It's a stretch.
I mean, it's possible, but you would
That's all we have to go on is
you
the
would think
sketch and the guy.
But I think that
Again, it's the example of like you're renting it and then I'm behind you.
hey,
And am I part of you or am I with you?
So I think it's possible, but if that were the case, then that means there's a lot more probably in that group. There's not just one more guy.
no,
Right.
there's like a syndicate of dudes.
And if that were the case, you're talking about some domestic terrorist group that it would have come to light. I feel like I feel like the FBI would have put that out there,
yeah.
especially with what happened. Like it was so. It was like the biggest news, and it was so
Oh, yeah.
public. It was
It was so
it was nationwide. I mean, obviously, it was like fucking huge ass bombing. So it's almost like imagine that with 9/11. Like they would have been like, okay, there's this domestic terrorist group.
It was just 3 dudes. That was it.
Yeah,
No more.
no, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. We'll soak that in.
Yeah.
Take that in
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Okay. Then there's one called the Elohim City, which is a white supremacist compound in eastern Oklahoma that had connections to the various right extremist groups. Several conspiracy theories suggest that members of this community may have been involved in planning or assisting in the OKC bombing. McVeigh, it was reported that McVeigh made contact with those individuals at the Elohim City. I don't know if
I think it's
saying
Elohim.
Elohim?
Yeah.
Fucking wild name, though, yeah?
Yeah, seriously.
Elohim City prior to the bombing. According to the telephone records, McVeigh made a call to the compound days before the attack. This led to speculation that McVeigh sought assistance or collaboration.
I mean, this would tie into his whole like Abraham Lincoln's a tyrant.
That's right.
Type thing. Like,
So, but these
now
guys
let me
were
just-
just like
well, hold on.
white supremacy, or they
Yes.
were actually like anti.
Very pro, like active white supremacy. Like take back our country. kind
Oh,
of.
okay.
yeah, like whereas like
we're gonna do action.
Okay, because I
Militant.
was okay. No, I was just thinking.
They're not like we
supremacy-
hate blacks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking more like that. Than,
So it's gonna get deeper. You ready?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Elohim
Elohim.
City
Elohim.
was associated with the Aryan Republican Army,
I didn't know they had that.
which is a neo-Nazi group that conducted a series of bank robberies to fund their anti-government activities. So back in the early 90s, shit was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Because there was also the Clinton administration, and they were trying to get rid of assault rifles and that sort of thing. So they started doing bills and trying to like reduce the ability to get weapons.
They're still at
Yeah.
it. By the
And
way,
the- yeah.
There's definitely also
So,
a misunderstanding.
Clintons
of
are
what
still
an
at
assault,
it.
misunderstanding on what an assault rifle is.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Some theorists believe that members of this group may have helped fund or plan the bombing. There's also speculation that McVeigh, while acting as the lone bomber, was financially supported by these groups.
Man, I actually do believe this because clearly McVeigh is not like the smartest cookie in the tin. I mean, I'm gonna keep these receipts. I'm gonna like do all this shit.
Drive around. It's a smart idea to remove my license plate.
They'll never suspect me now.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he. It seems like there might have been like a driving force, like using his passion to like push him over. Like, come on, bro, I'll help you out.
Now
I know how to build this bomb.
The only true evidence is there's a call record from McVeigh to this group about a week before.
Okay.
There's definitely not a lot to prove it, but I would believe
But there's something.
I believe it.
Maybe he was trying to get help or trying to get support. But
maybe this is his initiation. It's like
true.
It's like jumped into the gang.
Initiation.
You want to be part of the gang, brother?
So another major theory in this is that it's a false flag operation.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
False flag means it's like the government's actually doing it, but it's under the guise of something like 9/11. 9/11 being 9/11. 9/11. False flag.
Another example of a false flag would be if you're trying to crack down on weapons, is
have a shooting.
Okay.
And so then it's a reason to shut it down,
Right.
essentially, or
That's why I said 9/11.
restrict
That's
it.
why I said
Yeah,
9/11.
exactly.
That's like, you want to like restrict rights?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a way to get people on board with doing it.
Yeah. But not a lot of evidence in regards to this. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, this was like I was a kid at this time, so I don't know what maybe legislation might have changed because of this incident.
Yeah.
So I can't really like speak.
either.
I can't really
Yeah.
speak.
I mean, the idea being that he was in contact with the government informants or undercover agents prior to the bombing, like the FBI or the ATF. But the problem is that, so here's the theory, is that they were monitoring him. And so they knew about it. It was kind of
they
like
let him do it.
correct.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like Lee Harvey Oswald. You remember Lee Harvey? He like sent a letter.
He like the FBI is like
Yeah, he's like, stop hounding my wife.
and they're
And they're like,
keep a tab on this fucking
loser. A similar scenario,
Right.
not necessarily on the wife and all that sort of thing, but a similar like
They were like aware of his existence.
Yes,
but, like,
exactly.
But
They were monitoring him a
like
little
let
bit.
it happen.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There you go. That's that theory.
Yeah. Not mad about that.
Another major one is the terrorist group involvement that was outside of the United States. So this is a internal terrorist bombing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? The theory is that there was external influence upon this scenario.
Oh.
Middle East connection.
I'm not buying that.
Shortly after the bombing, there was speculation that international terrorist groups such as Al-Qaeda may have been involved. The theory gained traction because the bombing occurred 2 years after the 93 World Trade Center bombing, which was an Islamist extremist act.
Right.
Some believe that McVeigh may have collaborated with them and or have been inspired by them, particularly since the OKC bombing mirrored the use of a truck bomb, which was done at
I mean, if
the World
anything,
Trade
that's where he
Center.
got
It
maybe
was almost
the
like copying,
idea.
maybe inspiration.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah, I think it
like,
just kind of like inspired him to do that, but
I don't because like this guy
Collaborate?
doesn't seem like he may be anti-government, but he's not like anti-U.S. Like,
Right.
anti-nation.
yeah.
Like, fuck the whole. If this country sucks, it was just like, oh, fuck the government.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just don't buy that. Like,
Yeah.
he's like in with the Islamic
Yeah.
extremist people.
Okay. Another theory focuses on Terry Nichols, which was the accomplice, right?
He was like the ringleader.
He traveled to the Philippines before the bombing. Some believe that Nichols may have received bomb-making training or support from the foreign terrorist groups while he was in the Philippines.
We all know what he was doing in the Philippines. Let's be honest.
Nichols
Let's
made
just call a spade here. We know what he was doing in the Philippines.
Nichols made multiple trips to the Philippines in the years leading up to the bombing. During these trips, he reportedly met with
Yeah.
individuals connected to extremist groups,
Yeah, extreme
including I love this part, including possibly maybe Ramzi Youssef, one of the architects of the 93 World Trade Center bombings,
No way.
making his trips to the Philippines a training session.
He wasn't training his mind in the Philippines, brother. Like, he was telling his wife he was going on business. He was fucking. We know what he was doing.
And then finally, one of the biggest parts of this whole story is the absolute lack of video footage.
That's what I don't fucking think.
That's
CCTV existed. I'm sorry. Like, they should have some fucking footage.
Yeah. One of the most persistent claims involves missing video footage from security cameras near the Murrah Building. Several businesses had surveillance cameras that were reportedly pointed at the area where McVeigh parked the Ryder truck. Yet we don't have any video of the Ryder truck being parked there and exploding. We have video of the 9/11 planes going going into the buildings, but we don't have video of the Ryder truck pulling up
Stopping,
and then him walking away,
like leaving it,
and then exploding.
And it's just missing. Like it just
Missing
maybe,
or never was taken.
Yeah,
or...
maybe it just wasn't recording. Like,
that's all for show.
Yeah,
it's like not hooked up.
We just have cameras just to deter.
I mean, this really brings me
Don't
back.
come here, please.
For some reason, it really brings me back to Epstein, where it's like there's so many cameras everywhere,
Literally
everywhere.
And
There's
all
cameras in all of his things,
and they're all off, and they're all asleep, and they're
all
all
off. None of it has been recorded. Nobody has salvaged it. Nothing. But that's one of the biggest conspiracies.
I mean, this is less,
or the biggest holes of like.
I do think that that is weird that there isn't, but there's all these other things. It's like, McVeigh's not denying it. It's not like he's saying he didn't do it, which is odd.
Right.
And I don't.
It's true. He's not. Like.
What? It's like a child over there. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe the video footage didn't matter, and then all the like his fingerprints and that he bought it, they got the receipts. I mean, I stand by my theory.
Just the theory that
I mean, my theory is that it's kind of a mix, maybe a mix of what Eric was saying, how like they kind of knew about it. I think maybe they knew and they were onto him because he was like so blatantly obvious, and like I'm sure there's some sort of like alarm bells that go off when like some random dude who's like not a farmer buys like 300 pounds of ammonium nitrate.
I know.
From like Home
he
Depot,
didn't, he didn't buy it all from one place, didn't he?
No, but
they went around.
But
and
you
got
to
to
get fertilizer from one place, the fertilizer company, and then you got to get the fuel from another place. And then
they went to go buy different like fertilizer from different stores. They went.
Well,
they got
because you couldn't get that much quantity. You're like,
they're
hey, I need 400 pounds of fertilizer.
They're like, dog, we had like 200.
Yeah, like we do sod.
Yeah,
we'll take whatever you
we got like 4 bags here, sir.
Yeah.
So I think that
yeah.
maybe they knew, like they were on and they knew something was afoot, but they were like sick.
Ooh, I like that.
Afoot.
Fucking.
So I think they're like,
Sherlock.
we can actually use this to our advantage to push kind of narratives to stop this. Because I mean, what's the one thing the government doesn't need, is the one thing the government's afraid of. All of the people being like,
rising up.
fuck you,
Right,
like
right.
You work for us.
Yeah.
So they need they want you to be subservient. They do. That's just what they want. They want you to think that they're in power and you can't do anything about it. And I think this is a great way for them to create this narrative, like, oh man, people who aren't look at how crazy these people who don't trust the government. They're all psychos and they kill people. You don't like them, and everyone's like, fuck no, they killed kids. It's a piece of shit. Yeah. And then it's just like it just becomes this thing where it's like you don't want to be associated with it. So you won't voice your concerns. You won't you're not gonna be calling your congressman up all the time. You're like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna chill. I think it was a good way for them to be like, all right, fuck it, we'll use. And I'm sorry, but the government's fucking sinister as shit.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give a fuck. Oh, some people die. Oopsie daisy. Not our fucking fault. It's all about maintaining power. I mean, you just look at everything. All these fucking wars. Look at Afghanistan. It's like, are you serious? Why were we there for 20 years? Like, it makes no sense. Like, they don't give a shit. Money. Fucking Lockheed Martin was like, stay in Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do not leave Afghanistan. Yeah. The government's like, okay.
Meanwhile, their stock is just like pumping.
Them, General Dynamics, fucking all this, Boeing. They're all like, war. And guess who they're funding? All the fucking super PACs or all the donations for to run their campaigns.
There's a podcast I was watching yesterday with I don't know her name, but this is a politician girl. I'm gonna get it for you right now. Hold on. and she was going over. She was basically going over that whole thing of like how it's all like just
military industrial complex.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Gabbard, yeah.
She was on. I forgot what the guy's podcast is, but it was like a pretty big podcast.
I'll check it out now.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, man. And she's just like breaking it down how they all are both sides.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Both sides are. This is
it's
all.
This
for
is unilateral.
profit,
this is all.
And like she gives you like some good insights.
She's great. She was the governor of Alaska or some shit, wasn't she? She was some shit. I forget what she was. She was like an important person.
My homie.
She was a big.
She was
deal.
senator.
Senator, yeah, that's right. She was something. She was something special.
Yeah. And she's still, I think, in the military.
Well, she was in the military.
I think she
So,
still is.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So as we do, we're 2 or 3 hours in.
Yeah.
That
Oklahoma
was
City.
my. I gave you my.
Yeah,
I gave you my
okay.
2 cents.
Okay. Jorge, go to town.
I mean,
The whole story. The whole fucking
yeah, like
thing.
the whole time, Sean kind of towards the end there, and a little bit of what you were covering started changing my mind. But I think I'm still gonna just stick to the psycho of.
It's just a psycho. Yeah. Dude's lost his shit.
Extremist.
I don't
psycho.
see.
McVeigh.
Yeah, I don't see the and Terry. Terry, right? That was his
Terry
name.
and
Whatever the other guy is, like I don't even think he was that much of a part of it. Yeah, the coward.
Portier or whatever.
Yeah,
Portier.
you know, I just think that he just let his fucking emotions and his passion just like fucking get to his head, and you know, and then they
much so
planned
that
this
he
whole
killed
thing
all
out.
the children.
I don't think that he was.
Knew that?
I don't think that he knew that, and
Yeah.
also, man, like the interviews when you see the guy talk, there's nothing there. Like there's
Yeah.
not a fucking person
Dead
there.
eye.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
It's just like he seems like a fucking robot, just
Yeah.
talking like zero
No
emotion.
remorse.
And that's what
New
they were-
conspiracy. He's a robot.
and that's what they were talking about, like zero remorse during the trial, and I could totally see that.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
just the guy was not phased by it at all. You know, like by what he did or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I just think that
Okay.
I don't think the government was in on it with him. Although I do like that. I do like Sean's theory, like because it's true, man.
They'll try.
It's all about like creating this like fear, this charades of like you know. It's we're on your side. You know,
It's on
come
your
over
side, but
here
you need
and
us.
you know you need us
it's
to protect you. It's
you
like
work for us.
Yeah.
We're the government. We got you.
Yeah.
Just keep working.
I know.
Keep paying your taxes.
Keep working hard.
You're doing great.
working hard.
We're gonna take. You know, this is the
If any-
year.
if
this is the
anything,
year
I would
that we
say-
fix it. Like, this
If anything, I would
the
say
pauses
that
drive me
I
crazy.
know
dude.
it's like we're gonna
Like
fix
every
it
fucking
every
year.
4 years.
Oh,
we're gonna
God,
fix it.
we're
Like,
gonna fix
no,
what?
you're not. You're full of shit. Like,
I mean, if anything, I would say that from there it stemmed even more so the government like even scheming or getting ideas like how to roll this out, like with gun control and shootings or the false flag, you know, that you were talking about, because that's another episode we got to do is all like way too many fucking shootings, way too many.
Oh, man.
There was just
Crazy
one
enough.
this fucking week, dude.
I know.
I think it was this week, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
It's
Dude, I don't
wild.
know. That one's tough to do.
Last week, if you're listening to this on Tuesday.
Fuck, that was fucked up.
Whatever week this is.
And the more it goes, the more videos there's available. Like the more it's gonna be caught. Like
Man,
I
was watching
like this
TikTok
one-
and there was some
Yes,
you saw that? There was like
yes.
some students just
and the
going
kids
through
are literally just filming what's happening.
I would not be filming shit.
No,
Are
I
you
didn't
kidding me?
see any of film, but
I
I
saw
saw this
some
girl
bad
just kind of like
stuff.
recounting everything, and she was just saying like when she got out, she was stuck or hiding in the bathroom, and when she got out, it was like she was just talking about like fucking blood on the walls, blood
Oh,
everywhere. I'm like,
Jesus.
oh my
Fucking
god, dude, I
fuck.
cannot.
So I sent my kid to fucking private school.
Yeah.
Thanks to Santos. Yeah.
Bro. Like, well, I don't get any of that money yet. She's not 5, so
That's
hopefully I can thank him in a couple of years. Like,
Well, I'm thanking him.
I know you are.
I'm thanking him
Seriously.
right now.
Eric actually pays less.
Daddy
than I do.
DeSantis, what do they call him?
Daddy DeSantis.
All right, so here's
do you think?
here's mine. I think he had help.
Okay.
From
Some unknown entity.
Oh, okay.
there
You're
right
leaving
now.
it super general.
I just think that he had help.
not that group.
I don't
Aryan
know who it
Republican
was. I
Army?
don't know who it was. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think he had help.
Okay.
Yeah.
And financial
now,
help.
now this all the things.
Planning.
This might be. This is a
Everything.
conspiracy.
Technical.
I do
Yeah.
believe it's a conspiracy.
Strategical.
Like it's
Tactical.
But I don't. But I don't know if it's a government one. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like there's
more
somebody
like some
else
extremist
who's like,
group.
Yeah, they're
I
like,
was
Yeah.
I was there,
And
and,
then
I
they-
knew how to do it,
and I knew how to
helped
manipulate him and,
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit, like a little bit of conspiracy.
and he
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
he was so fanatical that he wouldn't like sell them out because of the for the cause or whatever.
Although I have trouble getting behind a government conspiracy because
I
the
know.
amount of
I have
government
no
people
trouble.
who died.
Yeah, the government
Right.
doesn't care about the
Like
nobodies.
the amount of ATF people who died, the amount of Social Security Administration people who died, the amount of children that died, the amount of you know what I mean. The collateral damage was massive.
The
Yeah.
government doesn't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know it's like,
But I
hard,
feel
it's,
like-
I know it's
yeah.
hard. It's hard to swallow, and it's like it's a difficult pill to take.
Yeah.
But like, you know,
Possibly.
Yeah.
like where's our bleeding heart for the all the fucking the bodies and the corpses and the fucking like under the tank belts of all the fucking countries that we inhabit to give them democracy and change
Yeah.
their way of life. You know, it's just they don't. It's a number. They're not thinking of it like that. They're thinking and look, I know it's a really shitty view, and because trust me, like I think the vast majority, 99.9% of people aren't that way, and like they couldn't do it because it's like it's
They're
too
good
gross.
people.
Yeah, they're good people and like they care about other people. But I think that the people who are running this country don't give a fuck, and they just all that matters is maintaining control. And I know it's really dark, and I talk about it all the time, but that's just my view. Like, do I still love this country? Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Would I
yeah.
be like? Would I rather be anywhere else? Fuck no.
Right.
I want to be here. I love it here. I love this place. I'm never leaving. I just think that
You don't want it to
I think
get
the people,
worse
As the
and-
people, we deserve a government that is the how it should be. It's for the people. The government is for the people. It's
So
a
last
it's a
question.
service facility
So-
for the people.
So last question, and then we'll wrap it up. So what do you think should happen? Should we just wipe them all out and do a start? A start
No,
new?
I don't think we
'cause-
have to kill them.
Wait,
No.
what?
No. I don't
Oh,
mean
the
like
government.
wipe them out, like a murder them.
No, that's
I
what
just
I
mean.
don't-
I just mean like what would be the solution?
I think the solution is that if there's enough people who are like, no, like we're not gonna do, like we're not gonna do it. Like if you could get, I mean, because you think it's like, okay, how many government employees are there? This employees, not like
Probably
just,
50,000.
yeah. Let's
mean,
say even more. Let's
Like, there's probably even more.
say let's say there's 1 million government employees.
Yeah.
There's probably there might be.
Yeah.
Like even if it's 1 million, those include clerical workers, include like all
Yeah.
the low level peons and everything too. Like, there's almost 400 million humans in the U.S.
True.
Yeah.
If you got 60, 70 million of them being like, no, like what are they gonna do?
But so what you're saying
what
is
are they going
what
to
are you-
do?
What you're saying though is that like wipe the slate clean and get new people in there, or who?
I don't-
what's the?
I don't know the solution. I don't have a
Yeah.
solution.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
I think it's-
first of all, like you get people that can't be controlled, that are not part of the political system
The
that they've
lobbying.
gone
Yeah, so
lobbying.
gross. Well, I think I think
and-
it's you should get rid of lobbying. Lobbying should be outlawed
yeah,
instantly.
Yeah.
It's legal bribery. It's bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how can you? How? No. Like, it's got to be. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have the answers, man. I'm not like a fucking philosopher. I don't like know what's right and what's wrong. I just think that the current system is not working.
I mean, another thing could be, getting
Jorge in
checks
there.
and balances in there.
I mean, can we get Jorge in? Like,
No.
maybe the people that don't think they should be doing it should do it.
that's what I'm
Does that
saying.
make fucking sense?
He's
you
the
kidding?
He's the hero.
I
The
know.
hero that got them needed.
Yes. Like maybe that's what it is. It's all the people that are like,
No, I don't want to do this.
yeah,
They're like,
maybe
too
those
bad.
are the ones that should do it.
This
With
is
the-
your- this is your
also,
civic duty.
Also
Yeah.
with a full head of hair.
service.
Like, you know what I mean? Like fucking.
You could vote for that. You could vote
Yeah,
for that.
I know. I would be his fundraiser.
Hey, everybody! MC Eric.
All right, well, there you go. That's Oklahoma City.
There you go.
There you go.
I know.
Please let us know. I know. There's more that you could dive into about Timothy McVeigh's life before the bombing.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. I watched
Just didn't
those.
wanna go.
I watched the documentaries. I watched all this stuff. I didn't really want to get into the, the Aryan race scenario of
Yeah.
because we don't know what his actual
no idea.
thoughts are on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, But those are our thoughts, and we hope you guys share them.
Yeah,
share your thoughts with us.
And hopefully, and please don't send anonymous tip lines. Sean's super anti-government, or put me on the Fed watch list just because of my views.
I mean, it might be fun.
I don't want to hurt people.
Might be another episode.
Yeah.
Don't want to hurt people. I just think that we deserve better. That's all. Anyways,
Thanks
for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good night, guys.
Nighty night.